Good afternoon. I'll first highlight some key decisions issued recently. Dragomir Milosevic was transferred yesterday to Estonia to serve his 29-year sentence for crimes committed against civilians of Sarajevo during the second half of the 1992-1995 siege. Former commander of the Sarajevo-Romania Corps of the Bosnian Serb army, which encircled and trapped the city of Sarajevo during the 3.5-year-long conflict, Milosevic was convicted of crimes against humanity and the violation of the law or customs of war on 12 December 2007. He was sentenced to 33 years imprisonment, later reduced to 29 years on appeal in November 2009. Blagoje Simic was granted early release from a prison in the UK where he had been serving the remainder of his 15-year sentence since 27th of March 2007. The decision was issued by the President of the Tribunal confidentially on 15th of February this year and made public on 17th of March after he was released. In keeping with the UK law, Simic became eligible for early release on 11th of March 2011, having served 2/3 of his sentence. In his decision granting the early release, President Patrick Robinson set out that whilst the gravity of Simic's crimes was very high, the time he had served in detention and his demonstration of rehabilitation mitigated in favor of his early release. Former president of the Serbian Democratic Party in the municipality of Bosanski Shamac, Bosnia and Herzegovina, Simic was convicted on 17th of October 2003 for crimes committed against Bosnian Muslim, Bosnian Croat and other non-Serb civilian residents of the municipalities of Bosanski Shamac and Odžak. Simic was sentenced to 17 years imprisonment, later reduced to 15 years on appeal in November 2006. Elsewhere, in a decision issued by the Appeals Chamber on Monday 21st of March, Baton Hadžiu was ordered to reimburse the tribunal a sum of €12,122.80 for his defense costs funded by legal aid at the time of his contempt of the tribunal trial. Hadžiu, former editor of a Kosovo newspaper, was found guilty of contempt of the tribunal in 2008 for revealing the identity of a protected witness in an article he wrote and published. He was sentenced to a fine of €7,000. In December 2010, the registry submitted to the chamber that Hadžiu had the means to fully remunerate counsel and was therefore ineligible for legal aid. Hadžiu has been ordered to repay the sum within 30 days of the order or within 60 days if paid in 2 installments. And in the trial of Jovica Stanšić and Franko Simatović, on 11th of March, the trial chamber granted Franko Simatović provisional release from 15th of March until 4th of April in order to facilitate his defense preparations. This period follows the completion of the prosecution case and runs until the scheduled hearing of Rule 98 bis submissions. Simatovic's request for an additional release period until the start of the defense case was denied, as the chamber found the circumstances did not constitute compelling humanitarian grounds justifying provisional release. In a separate decision issued on 10th of March, the trial chamber denied Jovica Stanšić's motion for equality of arms and immediate suspension of the trial. The request of the Association of Defense Counsel practicing before the ICTY to appear as amicus in relation to the motion was also denied without prejudice. In its decision, the trial chamber found that it was not yet in a position to determine whether the accused's rights to a fair trial had been violated by the registrar's decision in determining the total amount of funding payable to the Stanšić defense for the prosecution phase. This total will not be calculated until the end of the prosecution phase. At this later stage, the Stanšić defense may file a request for review with the registrar, who shall then refer the matter to the President. And the closing arguments in the case of Momčilo Perišić will commence on Monday, 28th of March at 9 a.m. in Courtroom 1, and are expected to run until Thursday afternoon. The trial of Perišić, former Chief of the General Staff of the Yugoslav Army, started on the 2nd of October 2008. Hearings in the trial of Radovan Karadzic have now been suspended for 8 weeks in order to allow the accused sufficient time to review and incorporate a large volume of material disclosed by the prosecution in January this year, pursuant to Rule 68. Proceedings will resume on 23rd of May, and to date, 71 prosecution witnesses and chamber witnesses have testified in this trial. As of 28th February, the prosecution had used 105 of its allotted 300 hours for the presentation of its case. Hearings in the trial of Zdravko Tolimir continue this week and next as scheduled. Prosecution witness Rupert Smith, former UNPRO 4 commander, will resume his testimony tomorrow, 24th of March at 9 a.m. in courtroom 1. Rupert Smith is the 96th witness to be called by the prosecution in this case. And I'll conclude with an update on the activities of the Tribunal's outreach program. Today, the program welcomes a group of Serbian law students to the Tribunal on a visit organized by the OSCE mission to Serbia. The group will meet representatives from all three organs of the Tribunal and will discuss topics including equality of arms and cross-examination, joint criminal enterprise and command responsibility and support, as well as protection of witnesses. Finally, 2 training sessions took place in Croatia and Bosnia and Herzegovina last week, organized as part of the War Crimes Justice Project. Judges and prosecutors from Croatia's county courts and prosecutors' offices in Osijek, Slavonski Brod and Vukovar took part in a 2-day training session aimed at sharing the Tribunal's institutional knowledge and specialized skills, thereby enhancing the capacity of participants to handle complex war crimes cases. Judges, prosecutors and defense lawyers from across Bosnia and Herzegovina also received a 3-day advocacy training session in Sarajevo, which was led by ICTY's judge, Moloto. The next training session for legal professionals planned as part of this project will take place in Banja Luka on 28th of March. Office of the Prosecutor?
No statements from the office.
Any questions? Okay, thank you.